motherfucking monster for this one.
Yo, what's going on, dudes? Today I'm going to be talking about how to improve a COD, and before I get into today's video, I just wanted to quickly make a note. I don't think I'm good, so these tips that I'm making, they're not coming from a pro player. I'm, a decent player. I'm not that great. I don't classify myself as great. I don't want people to think I classify myself as great. So hopefully these tips come off as from somebody who's played a lot that isn't, a pro player. I'm not trying to come across like that, so please don't interpret me as somebody who thinks he's good. But the background gameplay today is a pretty sick sniper game. Unfortunately, I wasn't recording it live, so it's just the game sound and the dudes I was playing with voices, so it's going to be down kind of low. So hopefully you do enjoy that though. I found something quite amusing though. One of the dudes in the pre-game lobby, I don't know if I'm going to leave it in there, but one of the dudes in the pre-game lobby in the other teams says, "We're going to slap you," or something like that. I found it so hilarious before the game, but it was probably one of my most disappointing not having my mic on games ever. But yeah, hope you guys do enjoy that. Let's get into the tips, the pointers about how to improve, and I hope you guys do enjoy. And if you do find them helpful, let me know in the comments. It'd be greatly appreciated. So the first thing I've got to say is your game settings are really, really important when you're trying to get better at COD, or if you want to be decent at COD. Just before you jump into games, just check your settings. Personally, I think sensitivity for Black Ops 2 or for non-double jump / jetpack games on AW and Black Ops 3, it's got your horizontal and your vertical sensitivity. But for Black Ops 2, or for Ghost and before, your sensitivity, I think personally it should be around 3 to 6. A lot of people, varies. Like I know people that play, the M8 on Black Ops 2 and they use a 1 sensitivity, or I know people that are absolute, they're beasts. They drop 40s every game. They use 10 sensitivity. So you really don't have to use a set sensitivity, but personally I use a 5. It's really personal preference. You got to get used to it. You got to like it. I like 5. That's just me. But just a couple of other things. Target assist, obviously you want that on. That's pretty normal to want that on. And gamer tag indicator, this is one that people don't really think about. Put this on. You may as well, just in case some noob sitting in a bush in S&D and you happen to see their name above their head if you don't spot their body. So that's kind of helpful. And just one other thing, audio settings. If you have a headset and you're always wondering why you can't hear people's footsteps and crap when you're not using awareness, obviously, because I'd rather shit in my hands and clap than see someone use awareness. But presets, use Super Crunch. It's better out of all of them in my opinion. Some people tell me to use this, but I don't really get it. Flicking over from this to this, Super Crunch is so much louder. And have your voice volume a little bit down, your game volume up, because that's when those, the black guy or the, actually I shouldn't say black guy, but you know what I mean. The dudes that say stuff in the background, they might say, "But I'm active" or whatever. Those guys, they definitely help you out, and you can listen to their callouts better if you got the Codcaster volume up. So hopefully that helps. But that's just about it for the settings, I think. Your layouts, I use default for both because I have a scuff, but some people who play Claw, they use different layouts, or if you play R3 to jump, which is called tactical, use different layouts, but I've never done that. Before I got a scuff, I used to just play default controls, default controller, and I used to use A to jump, so I don't really know any, variances, but I think the way to go is either play Claw or scuff, if you can afford it, but it doesn't really matter. So yeah, hopefully those settings sort of help you out, and if you didn't know any of those, that's hopefully helpful. But let's get into the other stuff. So next thing I've got to say is your mindset, man. Mindset is probably one of the most important things in life. How you go into things, you've got to be on the ball, man. You can't be thinking, let's use, COD for an example, let's use League play for an example. You can't be going into a game of League play thinking you're going to lose. So if you come up against a team of 3 people that are really good players, you can't think before the game, well, we've lost because you got bad teammates or because you don't think you're that good. That's not how you're going to win games, man. You got to go into the game thinking you're going to win. It's like me, for example, I'm just an average player. If I said I want to 1v1 Scump and he said yes, if I go into that game thinking, oh, I'm versing a pro player, I'm going to lose, he's the best player in the game, I'm stuffed, I'm not going to win. I'm probably not going to get a kill because I'm not going to be concentrating. I'm just going to be thinking I'm going to lose. So you got to go into the game thinking, I've got a chance, I can win this. You got to be positive, man. And that's a massive thing in my opinion. That's probably one of my most important things I have to say. always be positive. It's the key in life, man, to being successful. So yeah. Next thing I got to say is watching kill cams. This might sound weird. Why would you watch kill cams? You know, you're wasting time, especially in hardpoint when you can spawn in straight away. If you watch kill cams, and I don't know if you guys watch my videos closely, but sometimes I do watch kill cams, and you're probably thinking, why is he watching a kill cam? Watch the kill cam, watch what they're doing, like observe what they're doing, even if they're not the best player. It'll make sure you don't get killed next time. So say if he pre-aims before he comes around the corner and he jumps around the corner, you know he's going to do that next time, so you got to aim higher and you got to be more aware. You know, maybe you got to use your headset better and be ready for him to come around the corner rather than just get jump shotted all the time, because it's pretty important in my opinion. And I was watching a Crimsix video the other day and he said that, and it kind of reminded me how important it is, like, to know how other people are playing, especially, you know, in a competitive scene. It's pretty important because you're going to lose if you just keep getting beaten by the same stuff, so keep that in mind. Another thing to do with watching people, watch pro players and watch good players and use what they do in your own game, implement it into your own game. I used to do this a lot. I used to watch like Scump all the time on League Play, man, when I was just starting it, and I was just so impressed with how he went so well. And you know, I tried to copy stuff he did. Like, obviously I'd copy his classes like everybody does, but just the way he moves and the way he thinks, like, you can just see it in his game. And I really try and do that now in my game. You copy, you know, what they do. Like, Scump's a pretty aggressive player. He's sort of a smart but dumb player at the same time. Like, he rushes places that you wouldn't expect him to rush. So like, say on standoff S&D, he rushes L wall. Like, people don't do that because they usually get sniped, but he just does it, and sometimes it pays off. You get, you know, double, triple kill because it's really unexpected. So try and be like people that are good, like pro players, like good players that you watch. You got to try and be like them and implement what they do into your game, and obviously come up with your own stuff. That's how you're gonna get better and how you're gonna be unpredictable when you verse people. But yeah. Use good classes. This is pretty straightforward. This is pretty self-explanatory. Like, if you're just going to rock up with the Type 25 ACOG suppressor laser on your 14 sensitivity, man, you're not going to get kills against a sweaty MA player, are you? You're not. Like, that's just life. Like, that's like, you know, an ant versus a human. You're just not going to win. So use sweaty classes if you're serious about getting better, and that's really important in my opinion. Like, sometimes I chuck weird classes on, like, you know, Chicom or the KSG or something weird like that is different. That's because, you know, I just like changing it up, and it gets a bit boring using sweaty classes all over. But if you're serious about getting better, definitely use sweaty classes, man. Internet, this is a pretty controversial one with me. I get called all net probably, like, if I play 10 games, I probably get called all net 9 times. So it's just a quick thing. I don't know, a lot of people have already done this, but if you haven't, try and ring up your internet provider. If you can't do that, try and get one of your parents to ring up your internet provider. Just give them a ring and say, you know, is there any upgrades available from our internet that are for free? And obviously, if your parents or you are willing to pay more, yeah, go ahead. But there's always free upgrades, man. Like, I rang up a couple of months back, and because I was pretty pissed off, we had really terrible internet, and I just asked them, you know, is there any upgrades available? They said no. I rang them back again, and they actually said there is, and we ended up getting like some sick ass upgrade from, like, I used to have like a 1.5 download speed, and now I've got like a 16 or something. And it's not, you know, it's not the biggest deal, but most people can acknowledge that internet does help your game, and I can acknowledge that. But mine's not that good. Like, I've got a mate on PS4, he's got 120 download and 90 upload. He's got like 3 ping, and he's got MBN, and it really does help. Like, he's not a very good player, but he's still decent because he can just kill people on like 3 bullets with a bell. So you really got to keep that in mind, and if you can get it upgraded, definitely try to. Equipment, now I'm not going to tell you to go out and buy $300 controllers, $300 headsets, and $300 monitors, because that's just stupid. You don't do that shit if you know, unless you're a multi-millionaire, you don't do that crap. But I'm not going to say that it doesn't help, because I feel like having Astros over Apple headphones, it's definitely gonna help your game out, because there's different settings on the Astros so that you can use them for first-person shooters, and you can obviously hear, like, just in general, you can hear better. Everybody knows that, so you got to be realistic. And if you're serious about getting better and you can afford it, or it's possible, then definitely try to get better equipment, like a Scuff, like Astros, like a better monitor with a lower response time. like internet. It definitely helps, but I'm not telling you to, just fucking grab a baseball bat, run up to your dad and just go, "Dad, you're gonna buy me all this shit, I'm gonna fucking smash you." I'm not saying that, I'm just saying keep it in mind. If it is possible, then it definitely will help you improve if you're serious about it. Now this or your mindset is probably the most important things in terms of getting better at COD. Who you play with and who you play against. So when I say this, if you're playing with good players and you're learning from them, like they're telling you what to do, you're telling them what to do, you're watching how they play, they're watching how you play, you're going to improve each other, and it definitely helps. Like if you played with, one of your IRL mates that's not that good, and I'm not saying I'm not saying be antisocial, I'm just saying if you're playing with one of your IRL mates that's a 0.2 KD TDM scrub compared to playing with, Scump in league play, are you going to improve? Yeah, obviously, because you're going to be seeing what he does, you're going to be seeing how he moves, and unconsciously you're going to be copying what he does. So try and play with better players, and who you play against is really important as well. Like in league play, for example, don't break when you come up against good players. If you verse good players all the time, you're going to be improving all the time because you're going to be outgunning better players, you're going to be learning how to beat better players, and that's really, really important. Like at the start of the game, like nobody really broke in terms of, I'm talking about league play, like back in the day. And now everybody just breaks. Like I don't know why. Like people just find the need to not want to verse good players, and it's real important to verse good players, man. Like you're not going to get better, by going 48-1 against thumbless, not with it people. Like it's not going to help you improve. So really keep that in mind when you're playing. And if you can, try and play private match 8s. Try and play scrims. Like the more competitive orientated play you have, the better. And the last thing to say is practice. Practice is important throughout life, whether it's sport, school, work, art, music, I don't even know, man, whatever you do, it's really important. And especially with COD, the more you play, obviously the better you're going to be. The more shots you shoot off, the better accuracy you're going to have, and that's just the way the world works. That's the way life works. The more you do something, the better you're going to be at it. And the old saying, practice makes perfect, is very, very true. And you look at pro players, they play like 12, 13, 14 hours a day, and I'm not saying you should do that. I don't do that myself, but it definitely does help you improve. And with Black Ops 3 coming up myself, I'm pretty keen to get on the grind, get a good start, get a lot of hours in the first, week and a bit, because it's, it's real fun, like, especially, when you're doing well at a game. If you're just getting absolutely stomped, going 10 and 40 in comp games every game, it's not very enjoyable. So keep it in mind, practice does make perfect, and with COD especially, and I know everybody says it, but it's very, very literal and very, very true. So yeah. But as I said, it's like anything in life, man. The more dedicated you are to it, and if you're serious about getting better at COD, then definitely keep in mind what I've said, and keep in mind what other people say. Keep in mind what other people do, because that's how you're going to improve. But hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you do, sure, leave a thumbs up. Hope you have a great day. Peace out.
Yo, I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all for you. Come along and see it's true, but the world is pretty cold, you might need a sweater too. I'ma put a ride on ya, kid from California, trying to make it in life in school they never taught ya.